Have Newcastle just signed the Premier League's next elite centre-back for only £35 million? This is the signing that Newcastle have been waiting 3 seasons for. And if Malick Thiaw reaches his full potential, we could be looking at one of the most dominant defenders in the Premier League for years to come. I'll deep dive into the qualities that make Thiaw the perfect modern day centre-back, but the flaws that could hold him back from reaching his full potential, why Thiaw is a better fit than Marc Guehi for Newcastle in the long term, and the tactical setup that could unlock not just Thiaw, but the whole team. But first, let's break down Malick Thiaw's profile and why he's built for the Premier League. Picking up Malick Thiaw, who only just turned 24 this summer, is the exact age profile that we've been looking for. He's 6'4", strong, and can cover the left centre-back role just as well as he does the right centre-back role. And as a backup, he can also play in the right-back position. And at his young age, he also has experience of Champions League football over the past few seasons. And the key thing about Malick Thiaw is that he has the skill set of a modern-day centre-back, but still has plenty room to grow to become a truly elite player. And what every modern-day centre-back needs in an elite team is the ability to pass the ball, to make those progressive passes into your teammates and break the opposition lines. You can see him here in the home game against Napoli, and he's the deepest centre-back on the ball. And what he does is so good. That ability to play the ball with disguise to break the opposition lines, and he opens out his body as if he's about to play a pass out to the right winger, and what that does is it draws out that Napoli team to that left hand side. Kvaratskhelia and the centre midfielder both get drawn to that left side to cover off those passing options to the AC Milan players, and what he does is he closes his foot at the last second, playing that beautiful penetrative ball directly through the heart of that Napoli team into Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who's then able to turn and face that back line. Beautiful pass, beautiful execution. And he also has that variety to his passing ability. He's able to break the lines with his right and left foot and hit those diagonals from that centre-back position out to the opposite winger. And you can see from this example against Juventus, in that left centre-back position, he just drives this ball out to the opposite winger. But if you pay close attention to his technique, you can see why he's not at the level of someone like Fabian Schär or the elite centre-backs on the ball. It's a small detail, but that little hop that he does. Under no pressure at all, he should just be striding onto this seamlessly. But he's able to take this hop, delay that little pass a bit further, and he has to prepare to make these kind of passes, which is a telltale sign where you're not quite at the elite level. And you can see from this example against Torino, he has plenty of time and space to make this pass. And although all he has to do is dink this to the right winger, he drives this ball so far out of play for a goal kick. And these are some of the inconsistencies that he has to weed out of his game to become a truly elite centre-back. Now, when playing in a right centre-back or left centre-back position in a back 4 or back 5 formation, you need to be comfortable defending in wide areas, especially in 1v1 situations. And he's got the underlying technique to be really good in these situations, but there are moments that let him down. In the game against Inter Milan, you can see he's squared up 1v1 with Marcus Thuram. Marcus Thuram tries to drive at him, but he just clamps him so early on in this 1v1 duel. Beautiful timing of the tackle, but this is what I mean about that consistency, the area that he needs to improve. When we move on to the game against Fiorentina at home, in the exact same position, this time he's squared up with Moise Kean, who has a bit more pace, a bit more trickery, and as he squares him up, he just drives by him. Just total pace to get beyond him. Malick Thiaw is a quick player, but he does take a bit of time to get up to his full speed, and in this case, Kean accelerates beyond him, gets to the byline, and has a shot on goal. And these are the types of situations that he just needs to control a bit better moving forward. But one of the things that I love about Malick Thiaw is that he loves to defend. He's such a good defender, especially in a high line and in those recovery situations where he's covering for his centre-back partner. In this example, against Juventus at home, he's in that left centre-back position, covering for Gabbia in that right centre-back position, who's taking care of the player on the ball. And then a lovely run gets made in behind Gabbia, as well as another run on the back line in between the left centre-back of Thiaw and the left back of Hernandez. And that run over his left shoulder means that he can't commit to going to that run in behind Gabbia straight away. He waits for that pass to be played, and then he makes a lovely dart out to that player. You know, he doesn't go straight away and overcommit himself. He goes to go and make a block on the ball, but he doesn't just throw himself at the ball. He waits to read the shooting triggers to make sure that that player is about to shoot, and then he gets down the line of sight of the ball so well in these situations. never too overcommittal, waits for the right timing, and he makes a lovely block on this shot. And this next example against Inter in the Supercoppa final is exactly what I mean about Thiaw being comfortable defending in that high line, something that Newcastle need going into next season. You can see as Inter progress with the ball in transition, there's a lovely run being made in behind him in that right-sided channel, but look at his body orientation. Already side on, being able to move as the ball is being played, and as that ball is played in behind, look at the recovery pace here. Beautiful pace. He's already in a great position and side-on movement to be able to go and accelerate as soon as that pass is being played. And then that last-ditch tackle, perfectly timed, wipes out the Inter player and just nullifies any danger of a goal-scoring situation. And when we talk about how Malick Thiaw will fit into how Newcastle play next season, one of the key elements of Newcastle's game last season was this man-marking system. And something Malick Thiaw is good at is defending in these advanced areas, in the midfield zone, or even as high as the attacking third. And you can see in this example against Juventus again, the ball is played deep in Juventus' own half, and Malick Thiaw is already progressing onto his attacker. Being comfortable to man-mark in these high areas, as the ball is played into the Juventus striker's feet, again, straight on him. Reducing his time on the ball, he gets a little nick on the ball already, but he doesn't stop there. As the Juventus player turns with the ball, again, that ability to track and read the subtle shifts in the attacking player's movement is so good. He loves going to ground and timing a tackle well. Beautiful sliding tackle, just reduces the danger again high up the pitch, and he'll perfectly suit this Newcastle high line and especially that man marking system. Malick Thiaw has all the raw ingredients to be an elite centre back at Newcastle United, and he has the perfect coach to help him improve his game. But Thiaw wasn't the only centre back that Newcastle have chased over the past few seasons. Marc Guehi has been heavily linked last summer and at the beginning of this summer, but I think Thiaw could be the better long-term fit for Newcastle United. Now, if you compare the data radars of Marc Guehi and Malick Thiaw, there's some key differences between the two players. First of all, Malick Thiaw is a bit safer in his passing. He completes such a higher percentage of his passes compared to Marc Guehi, who takes a bit more risk on the ball, like Fabian Schär does for Newcastle. The progressive carries are fairly similar. The successful take-ons are higher for Marc Guehi than Malick Thiaw. Malick Thiaw sometimes gets a bit more flustered when carrying the ball forward compared to Marc Guehi. But one of the key differences is that physical profile. And if you look at that percentage of aerials won, Malick Thiaw beats Marc Guehi by far. And that was my biggest worry with Marc Guehi. If you look at Tino Livramento, Lewis Hall at left back, and then Marc Guehi at right centre back, it's only Botman that has that aerial ability. And it's something that could be exposed when teams go direct over Newcastle's man-to-man press. And that's why I think Malick Thiaw is a bit of a blend of what we need. He's not totally a ball player. He's not totally that physical dominant player. He's the perfect blend of having that pace to recover in behind, but also that physical ability to dominate his duels. But one of the most important reasons why Malick Thiaw is a better fit for Newcastle in the long term than Marc Guehi is that versatility. If you look at the positions he's played since the 2022-23 season at AC Milan, you can see he's just as comfortable in that right centre-back position as he is in the left centre-back position. Marc Guehi is primarily a left centre-back, and we already have Botman, who's our standout player in that position. We needed a right centre-back that's going to be a long-term successor to Fabian Schär that can also cover that left centre-back role if Botman were to get injured. And you can see 50% of the time he's played at right centre-back, 39% of the time he's played at left centre back, but he's also comfortable playing in that back three. He's played it for AC Milan in that middle centre back role as well as that left centre back role. And that's why that versatility will be key for Newcastle, where we play different systems and different games across the Champions League and the Premier League. And then you have to take into account the transfer fee. We paid £35 million for Malick Thiaw. We were getting quoted 65, 70, 75 million pounds for Marc Guehi last summer. It's insane. The value that you get in Europe is something that we did so well with the likes of Botman, Bruno, these kind of players that are talented, probably can get them in a better wage structure compared to the likes of Marc Guehi. And if you think about it, Malick Thiaw also has Champions League experience, something that's vital for the upcoming campaign. But when we take into account his versatility, the question then becomes, how do Newcastle get the best out of Thiaw and the team next season? Now, when Newcastle have got all their players available, we usually play that 4-3-3 system. And I think this is the best team that we can put out at the moment. When everyone's fit and they've been integrated into Eddie Howe's team. Gordon's up front in the meantime until we buy that replacement striker. We won't talk about that in this episode. One of the biggest advantages that we didn't have last season is that ability to push Tino Livramento up, push Lewis Hall up into those high and wide positions in this formation. Because both Malick Thiaw and Botman are comfortable defending in those wide areas, especially in a high line. And then when you move Harvey Barnes central and Elanga central and allow Tino Livramento to overlap, as I've discussed in my previous Elanga video, it just unlocks another weapon for this Newcastle team next season. But another system that we played last season was that 5 at the back, especially when Botman came back into the team. And you can see it was Dan Burn in that left centre-back position, Botman in that middle centre-back position, and Fabian Schär in that right centre-back position. And what we can do with Malick Thiaw in the team is push that little bit higher up. Play that higher defensive line because of that extra bit of pace in that back line. It allows the likes of Lewis Hall to push up high and wide. Similar to that 4-3-3 situation that I just previously explained. And Tino Livramento as well, pushing high and wide as well. Harvey Barnes and Elanga playing closer to Gordon just to add a bit more threat because we don't have that striker up top. But it's that 3 at the back now. Rather than before, it was 2 at the back with Joel Centenali and Bruno ahead of them. This time, Botman can progress down these wide areas. Fabian Schär can progress down that right side and contribute to the attack, playing those penetrative balls into the likes of Harvey Barnes, Elanga, even Tino Livramento and Lewis Hall in behind. But it's the extra bit of pace. That middle centre-back role where you can play for Malick Thiaw just to cover in behind the lack of pace of Fabian Schär, especially down that right-hand side, and even Botman down that left-hand side. But he can also play in that left centre-back role instead of Botman, or that right centre-back role instead of Fabian Schär, especially if Fabian Schär's age, not being able to play as many games as he would like this season with the Champions League campaign. We've got those options at the back if we want to drop into a deeper 5 at the back formation or play it from the start of games. Malick Thiaw has all the raw ingredients to become an elite centre-back in the Premier League. And you think, once he's integrated into Eddie Howe's team, learns the patterns of play, that back 4 of Tino Livramento, Malick Thiaw, Sven Botman and Lewis Hall is one of the most talented back lines in the Premier League. But let me know what you think down in the comments. What do you think of this signing, of Newcastle's progress this transfer window? Let me know what kind of videos you want me to make about Newcastle as the season starts. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Watch another one of my videos, I'll link up here. And I'll see you on the next episode of A Game of Two Halves.